Have you ever tried one of those conscious breathing exercises?
Mm.
Maybe just 10 minutes focusing on your breath, and then suddenly, completely out of the blue, you get hit by this really intense emotion, like a flash of anger, or maybe this wave of fear, or sometimes just, tears you can't control.
Yeah.
It's pretty startling, right? It makes you kind of stop and think, whoa, what did I just unlock there?
It really can be startling, and it's maybe one of the most profound reactions your body can have to breath work. It's a sign, a really direct sign that you've tapped into something stored pretty deep.
Right.
And we're looking at it through the lens of Abhi Duggal, the creator of the School of Breath.
Okay.
So today, our mission really is to go beyond just the mental story of trauma. We want to do a deep dive into how these conscious breathing techniques can actually help release that old energy the body's been holding on to.
That's stored trauma.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What science calls stored somatic trauma and yogic philosophy calls samskaras.
Right, samskaras. Okay, so we're looking at this synergy, this connection between ancient yogic ideas and modern science to figure out why these intense feelings pop up just from changing how you breathe.
Precisely. And how we can actually use that for real lasting release. The key idea here, the big takeaway, is that trauma isn't just a bad memory you replay in your head.
It's more physical.
It's an energy program, essentially locked right into your physical system, into your body.
Okay, that makes sense. And yogic philosophy gives us a map for that, for where it's locked.
It really does. It describes our whole system not just as one thing, but as these nested layers. They're called koshas. Think of them like Russian dolls, maybe, or layers of an onion.
Layers of being.
Yes. And unresolved trauma, it doesn't just stay neatly in the mind layer. It causes disturbances, ripples across all these different layers.
So we have research confirming trauma is stored somatically, in the body.
Yeah.
Why bring in this ancient kosha framework?
Well, the koshas help us connect the dots. They link that physical feeling, the tension, the pain, to the energetic patterns and the mental stuff.
Okay.
So, for instance, the outermost layer, like Annamaya kosha, that's the physical body. Here, trauma shows up as things we can actually feel. Chronic tension, physical pain.
Like tight shoulders or that knot in your stomach.
Exactly. Locked hips, constant fatigue. Research totally backs this up. The body literally remembers the threat, keeping the muscles braced or the nervous system kind of shut down.
Right, stuck in defense mode. Okay, so if trauma leaves this footprint, this imprint, what's the specific yogic term for that lingering energy?
That's the Sanskrit word samskaras. Think of it like this. If the trauma was the event, the samskaras are like the energetic residue left behind.
Yeah.
These deep emotional memory imprints.
Triggers.
Exactly. They're not just passive memories, they're active programs. They make you react to something safe now as if it's the threat from the past. Long after the danger is gone, they're like these little seeds of reactivity planted deep down.
Seeds of reactivity. So moving inward from the physical layer, the Annamaya kosha, we get to the Pranamaya kosha, the energy body.
Yes, the energy body. This is where prana, the life force energy, flows. And this is really where breath work comes into its own.
Because prana is linked to breath.
Directly. Prana isn't just raw energy, it's like the intelligence of energy. It connects mind and body. Now, during trauma, what do we instinctively do with our breath?
We hold it, or it gets really shallow and fast.
Exactly. We hold it, restrict it, and that blocks the natural, intelligent flow of prana. Over time, this becomes a habit, that shallow chest breathing. It leads to feeling drained, disconnected.
Like you're short-circuiting the system?
You really are. You're disrupting the communication between your brain and your body.
Okay. And then the next layer in, the Manomaya kosha, mental, emotional.
That's the one. This is where the anxiety, the fear, the numbness kind of lives.
Yeah.
And usually this is where talk therapy focuses, right? On the story, the narrative.
Yep.
But if those samskaras, those dim imprints, are stored before words, below conscious thought, just talking about it might not be enough to clear the underlying charge, you see.
Right, because the body's still holding on to it.
Precisely. If we only work with the mind, those deep energetic patterns stay stuck in the body and the reactive cycle just keeps going. We need a way to sort of bypass the thinking mind and speak directly to the body.
And that's where breathwork comes in.
That's why it's so powerful and holistic. It works on the physical tension, the blocked energy, and the mental patterns all at once.
Okay, so let's get into that connection breath and the nervous system. We know our breathing changes with emotions. Fast when scared, slow when calm.
It's an immediate reflection, isn't it?
Yeah. But the problem is, after trauma, The body can get stuck in that scared breathing pattern even when we're safe.
Exactly. That dysfunctional pattern, the shallow, erratic breath, it keeps contributing to the physical tension, the disconnection. But here's the hopeful part. Because breath is both automatic and something we can control, it becomes our lever, our way in. We can consciously use the breath to send new signals to the nervous system.
So if the body's stuck thinking it's unsafe because the breath is shallow and fast, we consciously slow it down. Breathe deeper, especially the exhale.
Yes, that long, slow exhale is absolutely key. It directly engages the parasympathetic nervous system. That's your rest and digest mode. It also tones the vagus nerve.
The vagus nerve, that's the big one connecting the brain and gut, right?
That's the main highway. So calming it down directly signals safety to your brain. It shifts the whole body out of that high alert, hypervigilant state.
But sometimes breath work doesn't just calm things down. Sometimes it feels like it stirs things up. You mentioned stirring the pot. It feels less like calming and more like shaking things loose inside.
And that stirring is crucial. It's not always about immediate calm. Conscious, rhythmic breathing floods the body with oxygen, with awareness. It creates movement where things were stuck, held tight.
Like loosening knots.
Exactly, like loosening a knot in your muscle or fascia that's been holding that tension maybe for years, decades even. That's how we access the places where the emotional energy of the trauma is physically trapped.
And that's what leads to the catharsis, that sudden rush of feeling, the tears, maybe shaking.
That's the release. The body is finally letting go of the energy it was holding on to.
Okay, but this is important. How do you know if it's a healthy release versus getting overwhelmed, like actually dysregulated? Because that can be scary too.
That's a really crucial distinction. A healthy release, even if it's intense tears, heat, vibration, a clean burst of sadness feels like energy moving through, you still have a sense of being grounded, aware. You know you can stop or soften if you need to.
Okay.
Dysregulation feels more chaotic, like you're spiraling, losing control, maybe getting pulled back into the memory itself in a frightening way. The key difference is that sense of agency, of being present, even with the intensity.
Got it. So to really get at that deep stuff, sometimes we need more vigorous techniques, like the fire breaths.
Yeah, techniques like Kapalbhati Pranayama that translates to skull shining breath or Tummo Breathing. They're called fire breaths because they literally generate heat and create a strong physiological response.
Kapalbhati is the one with the sharp exhales from the belly, right?
Yes, powerful active exhales driven by the diaphragm, then a passive inhale, rapid pumping.
And that rapid pumping really focuses the energy.
Right in the solar plexus area, the Manipura chakra in yogic terms. This spot is key.
Why there specifically?
Well, physiologically, it's a major nerve center. Lots of nerves, lots of fascia connecting organs right there. And emotionally is considered the center of personal power. But it's also where we tend to physically hold fear and anxiety. We brace the core, right?
Yeah, you clench up.
So a huge amount of emotional energy can get stuck right there.
So the fast breathing, the diaphragm pumping, it's like a vibrational force, shaking loose that stagnant energy, those old samskaras.
That's a great way to put it. It's literally shaking them loose from the density of the solar plexus tissue, the heat, the vibration. It's like a mini earthquake inside, rattling out those deeply buried frequencies.
So if you feel like a sudden pang of fear or that knot in your stomach tightens up during the practice, that's actually a good sign.
It's often a very positive sign. It means the stress is being dislodged, it's moving. It means the practice is actually accessing that deep structure. It's working.
Okay. But when those feelings surge, fear, sadness, whatever it is, it can still be intense. The advice is to cultivate witness consciousness. What does that mean in practice?
It means you don't get swept away by the story. You don't start analyzing why you feel sad or replaying the event. You become the calm observer.
Just watch it.
Just watch it. Mentally know, okay, feeling of sadness arising, and you keep breathing through it. You allow the pure energy, the vibration, the heat, the tears to move without attaching to the narrative or trying to push it down.
And that allows the wave to pass.
That non-judgmental awareness lets the energy complete its cycle. It rises, it crests, and then it naturally subsides. And often you feel lighter afterward.
That sounds powerful, but
yeah,
safety first, right?
Absolutely. This needs to be done mindfully. Healing isn't about forcing. It's about allowing the body to let go at its own pace.
So listen to your body.
Always. If it feels overwhelming, soften the breathing, pause, return to just a simple natural breath. Especially with these intense techniques, starting in a safe, maybe trauma-informed setting is often a really good idea.
Okay. Let's shift gears a bit. It's not just about these intense release moments, is it? There's a long-term goal here.
Definitely. The bigger mission isn't just clearing out the old stuff, but actually resetting your default breathing pattern, retraining your nervous system so you don't keep defaulting back to that anxious baseline.
So changing the habit, neuroplasticity.
Exactly. That's neuroplasticity in action. If trauma wired your system for high alert, then consistent daily practice, even just simple things like 15 minutes of deep diaphragmatic breathing or alternate nostril breathing.
The calmer practices.
Yes, they strengthen the neural pathways linked to relaxation. You're essentially building new roads in your brain, reinforcing the pathways for calm and safety, and downgrading the old hypervigilance highways. You're teaching your system physiologically that it's safe now.
And this isn't just theory. There's actual science backing this up for trauma recovery.
Oh, absolutely. Really compelling research.
Okay. So wrapping up this deep dive then, the power of breath work seems incredibly holistic. It hits the physical tension, the emotional release, mental clarity, and that deeper energetic level, clearing those samskaras.
It really works across all those poshas, those layers we talked about.
Yeah.
And it's worth remembering. If discomfort or fear or even shaking comes up during practice, try to see it not as something wrong, but potentially as the last echoes of that trauma leaving your system.
Welcome the energy.
Welcome it as energy in motion, emotion, trying to free itself, complete its journey out.
It's powerful stuff, but probably best used as part of a wider approach.
Yeah, absolutely. Breathwork is incredibly potent, but integrating the shifts often involves other things too, maybe movement, therapy, journaling. Breathwork opens the door, and that integration work helps you walk through it and make the changes stick.
Okay, makes sense.
So here's a final thought to maybe chew on. If the breath is a key tool for teaching your nervous system that it's safe now, and we know trauma is stored somatically in the body, consider this. What subtle, everyday physical habits, postures, ways of moving might you be doing unconsciously that are actually reinforcing the old emotional patterns of the past? How might bringing awareness not just to your breath, but to your whole body, your posture, your movement throughout the day unlock even more freedom? That's maybe the next layer to explore.